This meeting is being recorded.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to our community updated meeting. This is to give you information on the Barbashela Creek Sewer Improvement Project. Our intent this evening is to provide you with information on the project itself, the location of the project, the extent of the project, and how the project may impact you and your community. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. I'd like to introduce myself. I'm David Hayes, Director of Watershed Management. I'm a water professional of more than 30 years, 27 of those years with DeKalb County. And this evening, we're going to have an array of water professionals and engineers to explain and discuss this project with you in detail. Next slide, please. Amongst us will be Manager of Engineering, Carrie Williams, Manager of the Project Administration, Ms. Cassandra Marshall, Engineering Project Manager, Tiffany Simpson, Construction Manager, Mr. Ari Kennedy. And again, Ms. Marshall will tell you a bit about the CIP program, and then our Communication Relations Manager, Ms. Alicia Penny, will provide information on the communication portion. This project is in District 4 and Super District 7. Commissioner Bradshaw and Commissioner Cochran Johnson. And it's because of them and their support that we're able to successfully complete this project. And I'd like to thank them for being there and supporting Watershed in our efforts to improve our community. Next slide, please. I'll give you a little overview of Watershed itself and what we do for those who may not know details. Watershed Management, we are comprised of one water plant that's capable of producing 128 million gallons of drinking water per day. This water plant serves more than 700,000 residents and businesses around DeKalb County. So once they collect this water, they treat it, they send it through more than 3,000 miles of water pipe to get the water to your homes and residents for you to use. From there, we have another 2,500 to 2,800 miles of sewer pipe that collects this water and sends it to one of DeKalb County's wastewater treatment facilities, who have the ability to treat up to 56 million gallons of wastewater per day. Again, this is more than 5,000 miles of pipe. And if this pipe were extended end to end, that's enough pipe to go from Georgia to California and back. So it's a huge amount of infrastructure under the ground. And what we're going to focus on today is a portion of the sanitary sewer, or the collection system part of the pipe. Next slide, please. Again, what are we trying to get out of this? Why are we doing this? We have an aged infrastructure, and there's no secret around DeKalb County. Some of the pipe in DeKalb County is more than 60 to 70 years of age and has far outlived its useful life. So what we're trying to do here, we're trying to renew this pipe with new pipe, and not just renew it, but we're going to upsize it where need be. And to do that, when we do that, it's going to improve our customer service to you and reduce some of the overspills and flows that we have in the area. And once all that's done, it's going to yield a better, improved, robust system that will allow more growth, and again, reliable service for years to come. Now, to do this, we've put together a team, and this team is comprised of the engineering firm to help us design, a construction firm that helps us put the boots on the ground, the pipe in the ground, and a slew of others. All these people will be led by DeKalb County Watershed's own engineering team. We do this so that we can ensure an on-time, successful project on budget. Next slide, please. Next, you're going to hear from the engineering manager, Mr. Kerry Williams. He's going to give you a little bit of background about the assessment of the situation, the assessment of the infrastructure. Mr. Williams, please.
All right, thank you, Director Hayes. My name's Kerry Williams. I'm the engineering manager for DeKalb County Watershed, and I'm supported by a team of 11 engineers and along with 4 consulting engineering firms to help us do this type work. What I'm going to do right now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the assessment. This is how we assess the pipes, how we discover defects in the pipes. Then I'm going to follow up with the problem that we found from the assessment. Next slide, please. All right, just a little background on the gravity sewer system. If you're not familiar with how the system works, most homes and businesses are connected to the DeKalb County sewer system via laterals from your property to the sewer line, which resides within the right-of-way, typically in the street. Sometimes it may run on private property through dedicated easements behind your house. And so you may see it here and there. And the sewer system itself, it's a gravity sewer system. In short, it flows down here to the wastewater treatment plant through a series of, as Director Hayes, through a series of pipe, it goes downhill to the wastewater plant. There are what we call force mains. That's sewer lifted from a low point to a higher point via pumps. That's usually not the case unless you got some kind of basement pump or something in your house. And with those laterals from your house, as you can see in the photo right there, sometimes they can give us problems. They break. Sometimes we have the missing caps. We have illicit rain connections, gutters connected to the sewer system. This causes us to have to treat storm water rather than sewage water. What does this do to the system? It allows unwanted storm water into the system. It reduces the capacity of the system. We want sewage coming through that, not rainwater. So it reduces the capacity, and we get other things flushed in the toilets like wipes that they say disintegrate, they don't. We get fog, fats, oil, and greases into the system. All these things result in blockages, and most of our blockages in the system do come from grease. And so some of the things to be addressed by this project will be blockages, capacity issues. Next slide, please. So how do we do the assessment is the next question. We do the assessment via several different techniques. One of the most cost-efficient, easiest to do is smoke testing. We inject non-toxic smoke into the system, and we blow it with fans, and we wait to see where it comes out at. As you can see in the picture right there, you see it comes out the ground. There's probably a missing cap or something of that type. And we do assessments based on SSOs, sanitary sewer overflows, repeat spills. We do them from visual observation from staff, residents as well. We also do CCTV. We actually run cameras through the pipe. This is very effective to look at the visual inspection, do the visual inspection inside the pipe and look at for defects that we find, cracks, roots, all kind of neat stuff we find in there. We also do acoustical testing, as they sound, acoustical. The use of sound to categorize our sewer flows. This can be used to find leaks in the sewer system as well. We also use hydraulic modeling. This is the installation of flow monitors into manholes. We measure the flow during dry weather, then wet weather events. This is how we can determine if a manhole or something has surcharged. And these techniques are what we have used for Barbashela Creek. I don't know if I said that right, but these are some of the methods that we have used to assess this sewer line and come up with the fixes for this area. Next slide, please. So what did we find? This is the problem. So far, you've heard about how we assess the pipe defects. Now I'm going to discuss the problem of what we found from our assessments. Part of the problems are, as Director Hayes told you earlier, we have aged infrastructure. Our infrastructure rate is 70+ years old. We have undersized pipes. A sewer line was built years ago for 3 houses. Now we're serving 500 houses. It's undersized. It's over capacity, under capacity now. We have operational efficiencies in the system. We have, again, I say this should flow downhill. We have pipes with reverse slope. They slope the other way. So sewer's trying to go the other way. That causes flow and backups in the system as well. We have cracked pipes. And so we also have lack of capacity, as I just spoke earlier, pipes that are too small in diameter, and we need bigger pipes. And so this here project here will actually address some of those issues. And to tell you more about this, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Cassandra Marshall, and she will tell you how we plan to address the problems that we have assessed. Ms. Marshall, it's yours.
Before Ms. Marshall, I'd like to acknowledge Dr. Davis. She's the Chief of Staff for District 7, and she has so graciously blessed us with her presence. Ms. Davis?
Good evening, everyone, and I bring you greetings on behalf of Commissioner Lorraine Cochran Johnson of District 7. The commissioner wanted to be here to attend this meeting this evening, but she had already had a prior engagement and is out in the field doing work and speaking to you this evening. She would want me to express to you how important and how critical the upgrading of the pipes are for DeKalb County, because it helps us to run more efficiently and it better serves all of the constituents of DeKalb. So we don't have sewer overflows. So we give a great and big thank you to Director David Hayes, as well as all of the watershed staff who are a key and important part of DeKalb County. So thank you again.
Thank you for that word. Ms. Marshall, would you please?
All right. Thank you, Mr. Hayes. Good evening. My name is Cassandra Marshall. I am the CIP Program Administrator for Watershed Management. I'm responsible for the construction oversight and the management of the CIP program. I will now speak about the solution. Next slide. So what does CIP stand for? Well, CIP stands for Capital Improvement Project. It is a project that helps maintain or improve an asset. It can either be new construction, an expansion, renovation, or replacement of an existing infrastructure. Last year, the Board of Commissioners approved the CIP program for $2.4 billion for projects to be completed from 2021 to 2030. The Barbashela Creek Sewer Improvement Project is a $7.5 million project that is included within that plan. My team, the CIP team, is responsible for getting the capital work done. My team includes 4 DWM construction managers who are all licensed water professionals or a utility manager, and 12 licensed inspectors. Later in the presentation, you will also hear from the DWM construction project manager, Mr. Ari Kennedy, who is a licensed utility manager. In addition to in-house staff, we are also supported by consulting firms who help assist the county with construction management and inspection services. So what we want you to know is we're here to help. We want to reduce or eliminate spills. We want to reduce or eliminate emergency repairs. We want to protect the environment. And finally, after this project is completed, it will improve sustainability to the system. These improvements should last a minimum of 70+ years. You will now hear from the engineering project manager, Ms. Tiffany Simpson. Next slide.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tiffany Simpson. I am the project manager for Barbashela Creek. I will be working closely with our Garney Construction and other key personnel to ensure that we stay within scope. I do oversee budget and that this project is completed on time. Next slide. So I'll talk about some preliminary work that has already been done between November 2016 and December 2020. We did do some survey and assessment. Carrie talked about the CCTV work and some smoke testing that we've already completed. Wetland survey, and of course, pre-construction where we completed design and the permitting process. Here we are, October 2022, and this project is to be completed by December 2023. Right now, we are in the process right now of engaging the community with the community meeting. We'll move to construction. And then we'll move to restoration where we make sure the roads and streets get repaired and landscaping is done. Next slide. Okay, so the project scope, some planned work that we have, this includes approximately 6,437 linear feet of upsizing, replacing existing 15-inch pipe to 20-inch and the 18-inch to 24-inch pipe. This will be mainly open cut construction, and it does include also 34 new manholes. Next slide. So this project is anticipated to begin October 24th. That is next Monday. So it's around the corner. We'll get started with this project. And again, we do plan to have it completed by December 2023. We do cover a pretty large area. You can see in the map, the project begins at the downstream tie-in behind parcel address 317 Shelton Woods Court. And it will travel upstream across Rockbridge Road, crossing Shepherd, and will tie in upstream short of it, entering 5159 West Mountain Street parcel. Next slide. Okay, now I will turn it over to Mr. Kennedy, and he'll get more into the construction aspect of the project.
Thank you, Ms. Simpson. My name's Ari Kennedy, and as stated, I'm a licensed utility manager for the state of Georgia, and my team and I, next slide, please. My team and I are boots on the ground, which consists of both consultant and county inspectors. We're responsible for the construction activity from day one, which includes but not limited to clearing within the right-of-way, ensuring that all erosion and sedimentation controls are in place, ensuring that the proper installation of the pipe is done, and ensuring all safety measures are adhered to by the contractor. The picture to the right, go back please, the picture to the right shows at the time, you've heard from different team members about our aging pipes. To date, that restoration is depicted on the largest sewer spill we've had in DeKalb County, and I'm personally proud of that project. Next slide. This method of replacing and upsizing this pipe, if you heard from Ms. Simpson, is the open cut method. Traditional method for sewer construction, repairs, and replacement. It's the most economical method of construction to achieve the county's desired results for the gravity sewer projects. It also provides the service best suited to the scope for this project and the best price, worrying about and being mindful of the ratepayers' pocketbooks. Next slide. The picture to the left shows a typical construction site, work zone, and The picture to the right depicts that when we're finished, we're going to restore your property in kind and or better. At this time, I will give it over to Ms. Cassandra Marshall again.
Thank you, Ari. I will now address community concerns. Next slide. So what the community should expect? Well, unfortunately, what comes with construction are inconveniences. What you're going to see is a lot of construction traffic, foot and vehicles. There will be construction workers, surveyors, county employees throughout your community. What also come with this is the parking for the crew workers. They will be parked alongside the streets in your neighborhoods and sometimes along the work zone. There will be material and equipment deliveries by means of large tractor trailers. The crews and flactors will guide these large vehicles in and out of the community. There's going to be noise. The equipment has backup alarms. These alarms have to be loud enough for the people in the work zone to hear, which is a safety mechanism. And as one of the measure of noise reduction, we will not have idle equipment just running. There will be bypass pump that will generate noise also. This photo is an actual setup of a bypass system. In addition, there may also be dirt or silt on the street. As an erosion control measure, the contractor will first install construction entrance and exit prior to starting construction activities. This will reduce tracking of silt on the streets, but not fully eliminate the issue. If silt is tracked on the streets, the contractor will be responsible for keeping the streets clean and swept daily. Work hours, our work hours will vary based on the location of where the crews are working. Our typical work hours are from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., sometimes weekends and holidays. However, in high impact residential areas, we will only work from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And lastly, there will be clear delineation of work zones. This is usually just shown by installing silt fence along the temporary or permanent easement and along ingress and egress areas. Next slide. Resident impacts. So due to the construction, it is anticipated that a lane closure will be required at Shepherd Road and one at Rockbridge Road. Residents may be temporarily detoured during open cut construction that crosses Shepherd Road and Rockbridge Road. Traffic controls measures and message boards will be installed to alert the community of the detour and or lane closures. Next slide. We will also have proper signage, such as the sign at the bottom left of the screen, which is an example of a sign we require our contractors to install prior to starting work in the area. These signs are to be placed in the view of line of traffic and on every street impacted at a minimum of 72 hours prior to starting construction. On the right-hand side is an example of the generic county contractor sign that is to be placed on unmarked company vehicles. Other vehicles will have their company logos. However, all cars on the county project site must be properly marked and identifiable as a security measure. Next, you will hear from the public relations managers, Ms. Alicia Penny.
Thank you, Ms. Marshall. Good evening, everyone. My name is Alicia Penny, and I am the Public Relations Manager responsible for communications and outreach for the department. Tonight, I will share with you the methods that DWM will utilize to communicate with you about this project. But before I do that, I want to briefly recap what has occurred so far within the community. Our outreach team has already engaged with residents that we consider to be in the high impact areas related to this project. Also, our construction and engineering teams have worked with residents to obtain any access that's needed to their properties. Leading up to tonight's meeting, you received a notification letter describing the details of the project and informing you of tonight's meeting. And that's what you see here on the far left. Going forward, 48 to 72 hours before the beginning of construction, each homeowner will receive a door hanger like the one shown here, which will tell you the hours of work and what to expect during that construction time. We will also use GovDelivery e-blast notification service to communicate with you. And at this time, I just want to stop and ask, if you've not done so, at this point, if you can please provide us with your email address in the chat so that we can capture that information for future use. We will use that to communicate key updates about the project. Next slide, please. These are the touch points we will use to communicate. First, we have the project hotline, which includes a 1-800 phone number and email address. We also have a dedicated web page for the project that will be established when the project begins. And that will have tonight's presentation, as well as other project information, including maps. We will use our Twitter and Facebook social media platforms to share updates on the project. We will also use news releases as well as the county's weekly newsletter entitled The Relay to share information as needed. Other ways we will connect with you, we'll use DCTV, which is DeKalb County Television. We'll use the Nextdoor platform, project signs, which Ms. Marshall talked about those project signs earlier in tonight's presentation. And our contractors will be a source of information. And finally, we will have frequently asked questions that will be posted to the website. Next slide, please. Listed here, you will find key contact information for the project. Most important is our dedicated project hotline and email address. Also listed here are the contact names of the engineering and construction team for the project. Finally, we have listed our 24-hour dispatch number. And if an emergency arises outside of the normal business hours, we ask that you use that 24-hour dispatch number to contact us and let us know what is going on. Next slide. And with that, this concludes our presentation. We want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule tonight to be with us and to learn more about this project. This is just the beginning of our communication with the community, and we look forward to working with you to get this project done successfully. At this time, I'd like to ask if you have any questions about this project or the presentation, if you would please put those questions in the chat.
I'd like to echo that, again, this project, it is going to be a substantial project of just over 1.25 miles, but it's absolutely necessary to, again, prevent sewer spills and to allow better service of the area. So with that, though, there will be some inconvenience, but the team, they're dedicated to ensure that we minimize any headache and any type of inconvenience that may happen. But within the construction, we can't eliminate all. So there will be some times that you may be slightly inconvenienced. We would ask that you have patience while we go through this growth spurt and again, leave your area much better when we're done. There's a question in the chat that says, when did DeKalb County first start using CCTV? I'll send that to one of the project managers.
So this is Cassandra. I believe we started assessing all of the sewers in 2017.
Very good. Would there be any other questions? There's a comment that I've used CCTV in the 1972. The CCTV has been around for quite some time and it is still very reliable. We have in some situations, though, we've gone to a more sophisticated type of technology called TISIT. And we do use TISIT around the cab to give us a more 3D vision of what the pipes look like inside. It's a question, why was the cab so last in inspecting its sewers? I can't give you specifics on why that happened, but what I can tell you is, like every other municipality across the nation, infrastructure such as sewer and water pipe, it's out of sight, out of mind. It's underground, and as long as it's working, no one pays attention to it until there are issues and concerns. While we were in the history doing some repair and some maintenance, we were not maintaining the system at the rate that it should have been maintained. But I can assure you this, that DeKalb County right now, we are doing everything that we can to make up for what did not happen. And we're trying to be thorough, and we're trying to move as quickly as we can to bring the system to a standard that is acceptable. Will DeKalb continue to inspect lines in the future and continue on a continuous basis? Yes. So currently, DeKalb is in a reactive mode, and we are aggressively trying to remove ourselves from that reactive mode, and we're becoming proactive. In tandem with the repairs, replacement of pipe that we're doing, we have also created a robust inspection, ongoing sewer. We call it OSAR, it's ongoing sewer assessment. And every year, we are assessing X amount of sewer pipe and water line to make sure that we don't revert. And when we find issues that are starting to occur, we will be aggressively proactive to take care of that ahead of time on our schedule and not on the pipes, on the system schedule. Very good questions. Are there any other questions? As Ms. Penny mentioned earlier, I would really appreciate if you've not shared your email with us, that you would put your email into the chat. We can capture that information, and that would help us to communicate our intent, the project status, and updates to the community so that you are abreast on what's going on in the community. If there are no further questions, there's one. Hi, Leah. Thank you for your work. Thank you for the work you do. Very good. We do appreciate her as well. I thank everyone for your time. I hope this has been very informative to you. And I do want to stress that we understand the concerns, and that we will definitely do our best to be on time, on budget, and to reduce any inconveniences that may happen. Thank you again for your evening. Thank you for joining us, and have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you.